Good morning, E-Town. It's a great day to be a wild kid. I'm Eric Witherspoon. I'm the superintendent here at Evanston Township High School. I'm joined by Dr. Marcus Campbell, who is the assistant superintendent and principal of Evanston Township High School. This is our first edition of E-Town Live in the new year, and it's Friday, January the 8th, 2021. We all were looking forward to the new year. We all know how much has been going on throughout 2020. I think, all of the New Year's messaging was, everybody was saying how thankful they were to see 2020 finish up and get into a new year. But this first week of the new year has been historic and memorable. And we are very aware that there has been turmoil, chaos, violence in our country. And we are really concerned about it because we know that our young people who are already feeling the trauma of COVID are not immune to what's going on in the nation. And so at the end of the first week of January, I can just say, Marcus, the second week has to be better.
Yeah, let's hope that the second week is better. I have been just taken aback by some of the things I've seen. Yeah. But this week I've also been encouraged by a lot of what I've seen. And I think that none of us would have ever thought that we would experience such a time in history. But here we are. And I just want to thank all of you for your strength and resilience as we've persevered through it, and all of the teachers who took time this week to just acknowledge what was been happening and the process through what's been happening in our country. Thank you for doing that, and thank you for leaning in, because none of this was expected.
Because we are, as adults, have more life experience than our students, and I, as an adult who could be your father, has even more life experience. I do want to speak a minute, though, to our students and just say that pay attention to what goes on. Pay attention and listen and read and learn, but do know that things change. And things that seem so devastating today can be a very different situation in a few years, in a few months, in a few weeks, even in a few days. And so what we need to learn to do is be highly informed human beings, but at the same time, really understand that we will be adaptable and we will try to have the best influence we can, whatever comes our way. So thank you. It's the first week also of the new semester. And as many of you know, we've been sharing all sorts of information and reminders throughout this school year with the fact that we are in the midst of a pandemic, that we're doing remote learning, that we have had so many things turned upside down here at ETHS as well, just in our lives, in our families and in our community, that there's just been a lot to take in. But we are starting the new quarter, as I announced over a month ago now, that we would start this quarter continuing on remote, and we certainly are. We are very clearly monitoring the situation. I only know of maybe one or so high school in this broader area that even has started back at the beginning of this semester, at the beginning of January, because all of us are monitoring the situation. We know that December was the worst month yet in terms of deaths in the pandemic. We know that the predictions are that there will be a post-holiday surge in the month of January. We know that the predictions, and let's hope that they are wrong, But the predictions are that January will be yet the darkest month yet in this COVID pandemic. The predictions that are out there right now about the number of deaths we can anticipate by the end of January are startling, and frankly, if that happens, tragic. So we know that there's just a lot to monitor, and that's exactly what we're doing. But we have made a commitment that we will do everything we can to go to the hybrid model sometime yet this semester. And we'll simply have to see how the month of January unfolds so we have a really good idea about what our timing might be as we go forward. One of the things that I want to remind you of, I already had announced that we would be monitoring all the situation and we would not be returning from remote learning in the month of January. So that's basically the best we can tell you right now about the timing, and frankly, it's probably the best anybody can tell you. Even the public health experts who have really amazingly good predictive models are also understanding that the variables are many. So we will continue to deal with that. We're also now dealing with a new variant, a mutation of the virus. I know that everybody listening in knows that, but that has really changed also our concerns about what we're trying to monitor in the month of January. We know the variant is already in this country. The New York Times indicated at one point that it was 10 to 60% more infectious. The United Kingdom is saying it is 70% more contagious. Whatever is correct, it's not the message we want to have to hear, that we have a more contagious variant that has already arrived in the United States. We are going to continue to monitor that. Let's hope that it doesn't make the circumstances in the month of January even worse for all of us. We also know that the city of Evanston has been receiving some and anticipates receiving more vaccines. We have our own public health department in the city of Evanston, and they have put out a vaccination interest form that they're asking Evanston residents to go to and fill out the information so they can start to get a database and start to send out notifications about vaccinations and vaccination schedules here in Evanston. I do want to highlight this. Anybody age 16 and over is encouraged to fill that out. So adults, parents, teachers, if you're listening, please be getting the word out to all of our ETHS students who are 16 and over that they need to go to the city website, and they will easily find the link to that form. I have filled it out myself. It takes 15 seconds, but get in the queue. Get yourself registered with the city of Evanston. And clearly, any of our students listening in, be sure you pass the word on to your peers. We want everybody to at least fill out that interest form if at all possible. One of the things that we've been really getting some questions about is, where do we get our medical advice? And I can tell you that we are going to the two most reliable, up-to-date sources available to us. And those two sources are the Illinois Department of Public Health and the CDC. And if you've not already been keeping up to date, we keep up to date every single day, sometimes many times a day, with what information is coming out from the CDC and the Illinois Department of Public Health. But they not only have a lot of medical information that informs us, and we're getting it from the best sources. These are the researchers and the public health experts. But they also have really excellent data dashboards, and we follow those data dashboards every single day so that we can keep track of what's going on. I've also been asked, so who makes the decision in this case about when we would go to a hybrid? And it's real clear. That decision has to be school officials. That includes, of course, school administrators as well as the school board, and it clearly involves those who have the responsibility for the decision. This is not a decision that can be abdicated. This is a decision that those who bear the responsibility for the decision have to be the ones ultimately making the decision. We're talking about the health and the lives of teenagers. We're talking about the health and the lives of staff members who have to come to work every day in this building. We're talking about the health and safety and lives of teachers. And we're talking about the health and the safety and the lives of the families that our students go home to every day. That is a huge responsibility. We can't pass that responsibility on to anybody else. When those decisions are made, whether we like it or not, we own those decisions. And so I just wanted everybody to understand that we have the best sources of medical information available to us, and we stay current, and we will ultimately, with lots of input, we will ultimately, however, take the responsibility for the decisions that we have to make. Marcus.
Thank you. And you and I both know we stay up all night.
We do. We do.
Wrestling with those decisions.
Yeah.
For those of you who are interested in learning more about the guidance from the CDC and the IDPH, we do regularly link to their websites. Our email reminder this week includes links to these resources. In addition to the updates about the vaccination program, you will find frequent updates about mitigation efforts, positivity rates, and other metrics provided by the Illinois Department of Public Health. So please see our website. Governor Pritzker's website also has very useful information. The state's COVID response efforts put equity at the forefront, acknowledging the disproportionate impact of the virus on communities of color, specifically Black and Latinx populations. This is important context. As we've mentioned before in E-Town Live, we use all of the resources available to help guide our decisions. We too must put equity at the forefront, and this means that what works for one district may not work for another, especially ours. So in the email reminder this week, we reminded our students and parents that if conditions permit, ETHS plans to transition to a hybrid model at some point this semester. Even with the very difficult period of time ahead with the spread of COVID-19, we remain hopeful, and we are regularly evaluating how and when to bring back students and staff in a hybrid environment that aligns with our guiding principles. This is what we do every day, all day. We're planning implementation for a hybrid model that is smooth and that gets to the objectives that we want. This means adapting as conditions change and evolve, and it means continuing to focus on preparing for what to expect in a hybrid environment. In the meantime, we want students to stay connected, engage with your teachers and other students in your remote classrooms, attend any scheduled counselor meetings, talk to your club sponsors, reach out to your dean, your social worker, or other grade level team members for supports. Email myself, Dr. Witherspoon. Wildcat Academy will also be back virtually this semester. So too, there are plenty of opportunities to engage in the Rebel Human information that we send out. And if we've sent out, all of these things have been designed specifically for you in mind, because we understand that these are tough times.
What great reminders, Marcus. Thank you for that. And I'd just like to speak a minute or so about staying connected. We absolutely encourage you to stay connected with ETHS. Obviously, E-Town Live is a way to do that. We put out regular reminders and updated information. Our COVID plan, our hybrid plan, all of that is on our website, and encourage you to check that out. When we've made some updates that everybody needs to know about, we also send out notifications with that information, and then it's incorporated into that plan. And then Marcus and I have been really doing our best. We just this week had a good meeting with the editors of the Evanstonian about issues that they're really conveying. We are going to be meeting in the near future with the student union. So that we can once again dialogue and hear from them. But even just a few weeks ago, before the winter break, we had what's called the Witherspoon Forum. It's an annual event here at ETHS. The students at ETHS designed this several years ago. Witherspoon, Campbell, Witherspoon. Okay, so I thought that was pretty cute and clever that they came up with that. And we interacted that day with over 100 students. And it was really just another great opportunity. Of course, as you know, because most of you have participated, we've had surveyed from students, from teachers, and from parents. And those have really also informed us as well. We'll continue to stay connected with you. We'll continue to stay connected with everybody who's part of the ETHS community. But I also encourage you to keep connected with us. Because if you just keep following what we're putting out, you're going to have a really good set of information about where we are. I can tell you, as Dr. Campbell was speaking to a little bit there, we know we're going to tweak, and we are in the process. We started it before winter break, but we are tweaking our hybrid model because, again, we continue to learn, and conditions have continued to change. And by early February, we'll be because by then, things could start to change for us, and we'll be putting out the information about that, the tweaks that we've made to that hybrid plan as well. I'll remind you, Martin Luther King Day is coming up on Monday, January the 18th. Of course, for students and staff, it's a 3-day weekend, but more importantly, for America, it's a very important weekend and holiday to celebrate and to not forget the meaning of Martin Luther King Jr. and what we celebrate about his life and his teachings that have been so impactful on this nation. While we would normally be promoting to you some live events that would be coming up at ETHS, instead there will be virtual events. And so I encourage you, the city lists MLK Day events. Many local places of worship have MLK Day events. We know that the public library has events, but because we're virtual, we can travel virtually beyond the city limits of Evanston. And in the Chicagoland area and the nation, there are some very powerful opportunities, and just encourage you to check those out.
Yeah, thank you. That's so true, Eric. I think remembering what Martin Luther King stood for is more important now than ever before. One inspiring quote from MLK reads that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. So we will continue to persevere in the face of challenge and controversy, including historic moments this week and in our nation. We want to again, and I want to again, Dr. Witherspoon and represent everyone we represent, we want to thank the teachers and staff for your perseverance too, and our students, because we know that all of you are giving the best that you can give every single day. And that's not always every day it's the same effort, but we know that it is the best every single day. So many of our staff have had to reimagine their roles as educators, and they're doing whatever it takes to support the needs of our students and families. Thank you for your sustainment and perseverance through last semester and these ongoing days. We're also trying to stay positive and upbeat for our students. So however deep we have to reach for that positivity and that optimism, we're committed to that. As a final reminder before we sign off, materials distribution for second semester begins Monday, January 11th. Students only need to pick up materials at their scheduled time if they received an email. We know that many students have the materials they need from their first semester classes. If you did not receive an email, you do not need to come to ETHS for materials pickup. Have a great weekend. We look forward to connecting with you at the next E-Town Live on January 22nd. It's a great day to be a Wild Kid. Stole your line. Go Kids.
Go
Have a good
Kids.
weekend, everybody.